The most important part of installing the Cinacoustic StarField Ceiling is measuring and snapping the ceiling grid chalk lines, and each ceiling is different depending on the room. Here are the basic components: the drywall anchor, a screw, the spacer, and the rotofast. First, the anchor is screwed into the drywall ceiling. Then the rotofast and the spacer are placed on the screw and screwed into the anchor. The hex head of the rotofast is then snapped into place to allow the hex wrench to turn the rotofast from below the Cinacoustic ceiling panel. We begin by placing the edging strip around the boundary of the ceiling. It's important that each piece be installed tight and flush with the previous one, so the ceiling panels line up correctly. After the edging strips, we can measure for the ceiling grid chalk lines. These must be exact because they show where the rotofast anchors are placed. With laser measurements, we determine the ceiling centers and snap those grid lines. Then we can measure and snap the lines for each ceiling panel. As we said, exact measurements are critical because they set up the placement points for the rotofast panel fasteners. Take your time measuring and marking the chalk line snap points. And it's good to confirm your measurements. Measure twice, snap once. The rotofasts are installed 4 inches from each grid corner, with one at the center of the long side of each panel. Notice that the panels have had any openings pre-cut before installation, and each panel has rotofast markings 4 inches from each edge in the corners and centers. After the power cable is connected and checked, the panel is ready to lift into position. This is why 2 people are the minimum needed to install a ceiling. Make sure the cable is tucked up onto the panel, then carefully position the panel in place. Again, the panels have each rotofast position marked on masking tape pieces on the panel face, 4 inches from each corner and center edge. The panels are somewhat fragile, so go slowly. When the panel is fully in place and aligned, the rotofast in each corner can be engaged. This is done with a hex wrench inserted through the face of the panel at the mark. The hex wrench is rotated counterclockwise to screw the rotofast into the panel material. A little pressure while turning helps seat the fastener into the material. An ice pick is used to locate the exact position of the hex nut in the rotofast. Then the hex wrench can be inserted into the hex nut to slowly turn the rotofast. Make sure to level the panel face with the edging strip and the other panels. When the panels are in place, they can then be leveled with each other for a smooth surface across the corners. This process is repeated at each corner of the panel, while the panel is held in place by the second person. Gentle pressure combined with slow turns of the hex wrench is the correct way to install the panels. It might take a few seconds to find the center of the hex nut in the rotofast, but once it's found, the hex wrench can be inserted to engage the fastener. Turn counterclockwise to raise the panel, clockwise to lower it. Turn slowly. A rotofast can be over-rotated. After the 4 corners are secured, the center panel rotofasts can be engaged to level the middle sections. Remember, pre-cut the panel openings. Exactly measure and mark the rotofast positions. Use a minimum of 2 people to carefully install each panel and level them for a smooth surface. When correctly installed, the StarField ceiling is a dramatic addition to any room.